All right. Hello, hello. We are back again. Sorry for cutting it off abruptly yesterday. To be honest, I thought I would be able to handle streaming and smoking bud at the same time, but I could not. I got really fucking just mixed up, and I was like, what the fuck am I talking about? But we got some good stuff today, man. We got an article about Lindsey Graham and his 15-week abortion bill, the stuff going on with the rail lines and the unions and their strike, or I should say, Biden's preventing of the strike, which still may happen. Then we got a law struck down in Arizona that limited basically free speech and filming the police. We're going to be talking about Putin and his relationship, or Putin and Russia and his relationship with India and China, and how that whole situation is just kind of falling apart for him over there, man. Then we got an article about the fucking religious nuts at it again, trying to ban everything that they don't like and keep the icky gays away from them. And then a whole bunch of content to react to. So hopefully I'll get through it all. This is a learning process for me, so we'll figure it out. In terms of when I'm going to be streaming, I'm going to try to stream every day, man. It's hard because I have freaking insomnia. So I'll go like hours at like 12, 14, 15, 16, maybe up to like 20 hours awake. And then I'll pass out. And then my schedule gets all fucked up. But I'm trying. Your boy's trying to get his mind right. It's all good. We will figure it out. So for right now, just expect me to stream anytime, like starting anytime between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. Every day. I'm going to try to do it every day as long as there's shit to talk about and react to. So without further ado, let's get into our first article. Again, like I said, our first article is about Lindsey Graham's abortion bill. And I mean, Lindsey Graham has got to be one of the stupidest fucking Congress, or is he a senator or a Congress? Whatever he is, he's one of the stupidest motherfuckers in Washington, dude. Come on. Like the Republicans and the right are hurting hard from pushing this just super unpopular shit and making the super unpopular stuff into law. You know what I mean? I definitely think stuff like this is going to hurt the Republicans in the long term. The majority of Americans do believe in abortion rights. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get into the article. Graham proposes 15-week abortion bill dividing Republicans ahead of midterm election. This article is by Alex Rogers and Manu Raju from CNN. All right. Senator Lindsey Graham introduced on Tuesday a bill that would ban abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy, the most significant proposal by Republicans in Congress to curtail the procedure since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade 3 months ago. Senate Democratic candidates immediately tried to link their Republican opponents to Graham's bill, but the South Carolina Republican defended his legislation as a bulwark against late-term abortions. And again, the Democrats know that anti-abortion measures are unpopular. It goes against everything that the right claim that they care about freedom. You know, like they say that they're the party of freedom, but they're the exact opposite, man. They're the party of fucking insane, backwards Christian nationalism, man. And this is the result of that, and the result of their scheming to get in their little minority rule and get the brownie points with their base. And it may have worked with their base, you know, where they like the real hardcore, hard right Republicans feel like they're getting their objectives passed. But the way that Republicans win the vast majority of the time is subverting the democratic process. You know what I mean? And it usually works to their favor, but there's enough Republicans who aren't extreme, who aren't hardliners on abortion, that it's kind of shaken up the political landscape going forward into the elections. Because before the abortion ban, or before Roe v. Wade got overturned, it looked like the Democrats were going to have a fucking bloodbath, like they were going to get wiped out in the House and the Senate. But after Roe v. Wade got overturned, and as well as some really crazy fucking stunts in the House where Democrats had advanced bills trying to enshrine the right to gay marriage and enshrine the right to contraceptive. And some of those people, I mean, a good majority of the Republicans voted against the right to contraception. That's voting against the right to having freaking condoms. So unless you're like a fucking Amish person who like is stuck in 1852, like who the hell is for that? You know what I mean? Like they're vastly overplaying their hand, I think, you know. Lindsey Graham is a miserable old man. I'm guessing you meant man, and you are correct, dude. And I'm like, I mean, I was gonna say don't like gossip, but I love gossip, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I am like almost 100% positive that Lindsey Graham is like a closet homosexual, bro. He said, Twitter, Project Lincoln. Let me check this shit out, bro. Let's see what's up. Lindsey Graham. Here, let me put it up. Shit. Let me do it so you can actually fucking see it. But no, I was gonna say, dude, Lindsey Graham is like, I'm almost 100% positive that this dude is gay. There was this guy on Twitter who was like a gay prostitute, and he said that Graham used to hire him frequently when he was in Washington, and that he has like a little mole on his asshole, and he's like, oh, that's just my little kiss mark. like I don't know, dude. Just this whole vibe is like, okay, that dude's a closet homosexual. He's doing all this shit to try to just project his own insecurities out into the world, bro. That's just my personal opinion. I know that's just some fucking hot gossip, but whatever, bro. Let me check out this video that you showed me. And let me make sure that you can hear the desktop audio. There you go. There you go.
And you know how you make America great again? Tell Donald Trump to go to hell. I think he's crazy. Donald is like being shot in the head. If Donald Trump cares to banner my party, I think it taints
I already know where this is going, bro. The dick sucking of Trump is about to commence.
Conservatism for generations to come. The leader of the Republican Party, Donald Trump. He's the most consequential Republican since Ronald Reagan. He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot. No, I don't think he's a xenophobic, race-baiting, religious bigot. You know what concerns me about the American press is this endless attempt to label the guy as some kind of kook, not fit to be president.
Christ,
I think he's a kook. He's not fit to be president of the United States. He's a jacket.
I don't even understand how Lindsey Graham is still in office, dude. Like, for real. Like, he's just so obvious. He just so obviously doesn't give a fuck about anybody except himself and his career, man. He views it as a career, and he goes whichever way the wind blows. Like the video you just saw, man. Like, I guess the fucking right wingers, they need their kind of like fucking Southern dandy, you know what I mean, to be in office to represent, I guess. Who knows, bro? Well, let's get back into the article. Shit. So yeah, here's where we left off. Senate Democratic candidates immediately tried to link their Republican opponents to Graham's bill. Oh, shit. Let me bring up chat. And you said, sorry, I have too many of these. Oh, you're good, bro. This is what it's all about, baby. Is that fucking content, man. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in, bro. And like I said, I'm going to be streaming every day. If you're not already followed, go ahead and give me a follow, bro. I'm on YouTube. Subscribe. Just search Procast. All that shit. We're going to be going through articles, watching videos, trying to fucking educate ourselves and just have some fun, man. You know how it is. So yeah, Senate Democratic candidates immediately tried to link their Republican opponents to Graham's bill, but the South Carolina Republican defended his legislation as a bulwark against late-term abortions. I think the Democrats made a huge mistake. Oh, hell yeah. There we go, bro. I'm not even mad I got interrupted. Fuck yeah. Thanks for the follow, man. I really appreciate it. As a side note, I got to change the fucking sound so I can't hear it, because every time I'm reading an article and someone follows, I'm just like, huh? But anyway, I think the Democrats made a huge mistake in introducing legislation in Washington that would basically allow abortion up to the moment of birth, Graham told CNN. Now we have an alternative to that. In May, the Senate failed to advance a Democratic bill establishing a federal right to terminate a pregnancy until fetal viability, or later if there's a risk to the pregnant patient's life or health. Fetal viability occurs around 22 to 24 weeks in pregnancy. Graham's bill, which has no chance of passing in a Democratic-controlled Senate, provides exceptions for abortions required to protect the life of the mother and if the woman becomes pregnant through rape or incest. How good and noble of him. He's banning a life-saving procedure only if something happens that he doesn't like, as usual with these fucking right-wing weirdos, bro. And I like, again, I really don't understand why he would be pushing something like this into Congress right now, or I should say the Senate right now, because of just how much the Republican Party is getting beat down in these elections, man. I mean, granted, they still might take the House. That's kind of like up in the air. But in terms of the Senate, and from the polls that I've seen and the news that I've like read and seen, there's no way they're getting the Senate. And shit like this just it's the Democrats' bread and butter, man. And the progressives' bread and butter, because it's like it's something that's easy to point to and say to the common voter, like, these guys don't give a shit about you. They don't care about your rights. Vote for the people who don't take your rights away. We may not do shit for you, but at least we don't take anything away. And I mean, Biden has been a nominally better president than like the past Democrats. I'll give him that, but it's only because there's so much pressure politically from the left now. So hey, let's fucking keep it up, and hopefully he does some more base shit, like fucking canceling some student debt and shit, you know. But like I said, the doing shit like this only hurts the Republican Party, and shit, man, I'm all here for it, you know. Fuck them. Senate Republicans were slow on Tuesday to embrace Graham's plan. I'll look at it, said Florida Senator Rick Scott, who chairs the Senate GOP campaign committee. So there you go, man. They know, the smart Republicans know that this shit is just does not fly with the average person. So now they're trying to backpedal and be like, oh, well, maybe late-term abortion, and oh, well, maybe let's let the state decide, and blah, 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 blah. Now they're not as gung-ho about we're the moral center of the United States, and the people want what we want, and we want them to fucking go back to the Stone Age, you know? Like, so yeah, they know what's up, and they're just playing the political game, man. Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson, who was in a tough re-election race, would not directly answer when asked if he backs Graham's bill. Johnson said abortion law should be decided by we the people in the 50 states. Just like I said, man, you know, they're just finding any kind of little excuse to not answer the question and not appear like a fucking lunatic. The Supreme Court decision resurrected Wisconsin's abortion ban, which was passed in 1849. Come on, man. Have we not moved past this shit? Apparently not, man. Apparently not. South Dakota Senator John Thune, the GOP whip, defended the new legislation, saying it will give GOP candidates a place to land as they get hammered by Democrats on the issue. He said most Republicans favor abortion restrictions. Let's see here. You got another little tweet for me? Let's check it out, man. My favorite Southern dandy.
If you can't admire Joe Biden as a person, then it's probably you got a problem.
Another thing with Lindsey Graham too is, I don't know if it's just me, but this dude be looking high as fuck, dude. Look how red his fucking eyes are. I don't know if I'm tripping, but shit. I mean, hey, you do you, I guess. Besides the abortion shit.
Probably you got a problem. You need to do some self-evaluation, because what's not to like?
Listen,
here's
man.
What I can tell you.
I mean, I get it, especially back then, man, when Biden was like, I mean, the only reason he was vice president is because he was racist enough to appeal to the fucking far right when Obama was in office. They're like, well, we don't like this black man, but this old stodgy fucking old ass senator, he's got our backs. You know what I mean? Like, that's all that shit was about. So hey.
That life can change just like that. Don't take it for granted. don't take relationships for granted. I called him after Bo died, and he basically said, well, Bo was my soul. We've talked for a long time. He came to my ceremony.
You know, and that's the thing too, man. It's like, we all know this, but it's worth saying, like, they're all in it together, man. Like, for the like, I would say, except for maybe the very fringe, socially regressive Republicans, besides those guys and some of the progressives who are actually progressives and don't just say progressive shit while doing corporate Democrat shit, like, besides those two groups, everyone in Washington, they're buddies, man, and they try to do things to make sure that they all stay in power and get the money bag, bro. Like, that's what it's all about, man. So of course they're buddies. Like, not surprising in the slightest, you know. And even, I know he's about to shit on him after this shit, but like, they're still buddies, man. Behind closed doors, they're definitely like, haha, and this and that, and oh, we made so much money, and oh, we fucking bet on these stocks, haha, fuck the American people. That's 99% of Congress and the Senate, man.
And said some of the most incredibly heartfelt things that anybody could ever say to me. And he's the nicest person I think I've ever met in politics.
Is that right?
He is as good a man as God ever created.
Man, there were some flowery words, bro. Holy shit. I told you, bro, this man's in love with them, dude. Do not tell me that this man is not in the closet, bro. Come on.
A really gut blow. I think he focuses on what he's got to do, not what he lost. His heart's been ripped out, but he's going to make sure that the other members of his family is well taken care of. And he started talking about his grandkids. More worried about them than anything.
Yeah. Well, shit, man. He sounds like a pretty fucking nice person when he's not screwing over literally fucking everybody in the United States. But hell, man, a lot of these people too, they just, I think they, because of the just fucking diseased attitude in Washington, they actually think that they're doing shit that's helpful. They have all the fucking the lobbyists in their ear and all these bad actors who just perpetuate their shitty behavior and pat them on the back and suck their dick for doing it. You know what I mean? It's fucking ridiculous. But let's get back into this fucking article, man. Let's see, where were we? Legislation. Yeah. So let's go ahead and reread this part. South Dakota Senator John Thune, the GOP whip, defended the new legislation, saying it will give GOP candidates a place to land as they get hammered by Democrats on the issue. He said most Republicans favor abortion restrictions. I would expect there would be pretty good support for that among, you know, pro-life Republicans and maybe some pro-life Democrats, Thune said. Those people and literally nobody else. I think even the polls for Republicans showed that like half of them are in favor of abortion, if not more. So they're fighting a losing battle hardcore right now. I also think that because the Democrats have tried to convert this into a one-sided argument that represents their singular view of the world, which is all Republicans are for an outright ban, Thune added, I think this changes that narrative and gives candidates a place to be for something that reflects their views and doesn't fit the Democrats' narrative. So the way that I feel about it, man, is most people are not super tuned in. You know what I mean? When they hear that a Republican is introducing a federal abortion ban, it stops right there. That's all the average person hears and understands, you know what I mean? Which is not good for the Republicans, because I guarantee you when the average person hears this, they're just thinking, holy shit, they're just trying to ban abortion federally outright. I mean, which is is what they're doing, like 15 weeks. I mean, that's not super late. That's not like super late term. You know what I mean? I feel like it's kind of in the middle in terms of like the debate on like what's like a late term abortion as opposed to like, you know, abortion that these freaking weirdos would consider okay, you know, or some of them at least. But that's not going to fly with the American people, man. You know? Let's see. But Texas Senator John Cornyn, a member of GOP leadership, had a different view of Graham's bill. I think there are going to be some differences of opinion, said Cornyn. My preference is to have each state handle those issues. And again, you hear them with the fucking, I know I said we should kill everybody who's ever had an abortion, but now that the polls are showing that position is fucked up, I'm just going to go ahead and say, hey, bro, that's on you. Let's let the states decide. Come on, man. Just so pathetic. Oh, shit. You said, let's be honest, it won't stop at 15 weeks. Of course, man. Well, the hardcore, like, fucking Christian fascists don't want it to stop at 15 weeks, and I guarantee you they're going to be pushing as much as they can to get it just fucking outlawed outright. But like I said, I think like about maybe like half of the Republican Party right now is like scrambling to try and figure out what the fuck they do about this, and they're trying to change their messaging because, like I said, it's just so fucking unpopular. You know what I mean? Ask why he thought Graham put forward the legislation. Cornyn responded, ask Senator Graham. Woo! That's not looking good for Graham, man. They do not have his back on this one, man. Shit. North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis said he wanted to focus on inflation. The consumer price index jumped 8.3 from August 2021 to last month, even as gas prices decrease and a potential strike by railroad workers. Again, anything but abortion, man. They're like, please don't bring that up. I fucked up really bad, and I want to keep my seat. Please, no abortion. In Wyoming, Senator John Barrasso, a third GOP member of leadership, said he supported Graham's previous anti-abortion proposals, but would not answer directly when asked if it was politically advantageous for the GOP to be introducing such a bill before the midterm election. The division within the Senate Republican Conference in Washington extended to the campaign trail. Herschel Walker, my favorite fucking crazy person, Georgia's GOP Senate nominee, said he supports a 15-week abortion ban, writing in a statement, the issue should be decided at the state level, but I would support this policy. Not surprising. If you don't know who Herschel Walker is, he's like a former football star who like 100% has had one too many concussions and is a fucking insane person. I can't believe that he got the nomination, man. Like, you look at literally just a minute of him talking and you're like, this guy needs some help. Like, he needs to be in a fucking psychiatric ward, you know? Like, he's claimed to be part of the fucking FBI for years and years and years. He like never worked for them. Like, he's a straight up nutcase, man. So of course he's supporting this nutty ass bullshit. He crazy, but they worship him around there. Oh, dude, I know, man. It's like he's the football guy. He played football. Go do football. Like that's literally the mindset, bro. That he said, and on top of them just saying, him just repeating the same old tired fucking talking points. By the way, jokes, I'm sorry I dipped out just out of nowhere yesterday. I smoked bud before the stream. And it was not a good idea. I could not fucking concentrate. But here we are, back at it again, chugging along. Let's get back into the article. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, so we're talking about Herschel Walker. He said he would support this policy. When asked to clarify whether Walker would vote for a federal bill like Graham's, despite saying the issue should be decided by the states, a spokesman for Walker responded, "Seems clear to me. That's why it says support." I smoke. Yeah, hell yeah, man. That's the way to do it. See, I can smoke and react to the videos, but with the articles and stuff, it's like I need to just be focused so I can read through and remember the shit I want to talk about. You know what I mean? If I had bud, I'd freaking smoke right after the articles, but I smoked it all up. Such is life. All right, but Joe O'Dea, the Colorado Senate Republican nominee, said that he opposed the legislation calling for Congress to pass a bill protecting a woman's right to choose early in pregnancy while providing a sensible limits on non-medically necessary late-term abortion. So damn, he changed his tune all the way around, just straight up supporting freaking abortion now, man. I'm telling you, they fucked up. People are pissed off. You should. I did an article about the abortion vote happening in Michigan a couple of days ago. It's crazy, man. Like, people are registering to vote as Democrats in record numbers, especially in states where abortion is up in the air on whether or not it'll get banned, man. Like, they're hurting. They shot themselves in the foot with this shit. You know, it's insane. And I'm glad to be honest with you. I mean, like, it sucks that Roe v. Wade got overturned, but this was kind of like, I think, the wake-up call a lot of people needed to realize that in order for democracy to function, people need to participate in democracy, you know? So it's good to see that they're running with their tail between their legs, even though they've just caused so much fucking anguish and pain in the United States over political points, bro. It's insane. It's insane. Whew. All right, we're about to get into this next article here. Give me a second. Hope you all are doing good, man. I appreciate you guys following me. Shit. We'll get up there eventually, man. We will, bro. Like I said, fucking Procast 100 years. All right, one more puff. All right. So this next article is, I think it's good news. You know what I mean? So the rail union, they've been on strike. The article's going to get into why, but Biden kind of came in at the last moment before the strike started to prevent like a major like supply chain issue and like kind of economic crisis, because don't get it twisted, the rail unions, when they organize and use their power as workers, they run shit, man, and they can get what they want. And that's why I'm hoping that instead of agreeing with this tentative agreement, which they haven't like fully accepted yet, I'm hoping that they do strike. It may hurt the economy in the short term, but in the long term, it'll be good for them and it'll be good for the worker. You know what I mean? It shows people that they don't have to take the fucking abuse anymore from these rapacious, insane, sociopathic people who run these corporations, you know? So let's go ahead and get into the article. This is from Jacobin, written by Paul Prescott. Whew, that was a fucking mouthful. Rail unions and employers have a tentative agreement, but a strike isn't off the table. Over the last few days, the country has been jolted into reckoning with the profound implications of a national freight railroad workers' strike. Though some journalists with knowledge of the rail industry or the labor movement have been sounding the alarm for months, the last 24 hours have seen mainstream media outlets publish increasingly frantic articles about the potential for a strike. In the early hours of Thursday morning, the White House announced a tentative agreement between the major rail carriers and the remaining holdout unions, Teamsters Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers and Trainmen, or BLET, and the Transportation Division of the International Association of Sheet Metal, Air, Rail, and Transportation Workers, SMART-TD. Very, very cool union names. I love it. The proposed agreement includes the best wage increases for rail workers in over 40 years. Workers would have a 24% wage increase by 2024, including an immediate 14% raise. The union also managed to win no increases to healthcare copays and deductibles, a key sticking point that was underreported in the media. Excuse me. Two-person crews are protected in this agreement, a critical safety issue that the carriers have been trying to attack. Yeah, so the railroad companies were literally just trying to have a single person running these huge fucking freight trains, which is obviously ridiculous. It would just increase just accidents and just, it's not good, obviously. You know what I mean? Anything to save money, bro, when they already make fucking billions and billions of dollars, more money than they know what to do with. This is one of those industries that constantly do stock buybacks and all that bullshit, man. So they don't need to cut costs. They just want to eke out as much of those sweet, sweet dollar bills as possible, man. You know? On paid time off and sick days, perhaps the most defining issue of the dispute, the gains are more ambiguous. Rail workers have no sick days and a very limited amount of paid time off. making the job increasingly unsustainable for any kind of family life. In a letter from SMART to congressional leadership yesterday, the union said, the railroads have taken away our members' ability to be a worthy parent and dependable spouse, and they have eliminated any realistic means for an employee to receive medical services. And that's why I said I hope they do end up not taking this deal and striking. Come on, man. One paid sick day? That's fucking ridiculous, man. They expect you to be a fucking robot and have no life, man. Why don't they say the average wage and amount of time off why don't they say the average wage and amount of time off that they have? That is a good question, man. I'd have to look that up. I'm not too sure, but I'm sure it's not anywhere near what they need, man. I mean, most jobs have no fucking paid time off, no sick days, you know what I mean? So whatever they get for them is a positive in my eyes, you know what I mean? Even if their industry standard is a little bit better than the average of other industry standards, I mean, for me, give the workers as much as possible. Fuck the corporations. They're a bunch of fucking parasites. That's my opinion, man, you know? And like I said, one paid sick day is just stupid, man. That's just like wage slavery. I mean, not wage, but like, and like close to just fucking slavery, man. Like living to work and nothing else in between. It's not how the world should operate, man. You know? The tentative agreement allows workers to take some unpaid sick days without losing attendance points, though it still is not known exactly how many. Workers would be granted only one single paid sick day. Like I said, this is a far cry from the rail union's original demand of 15 paid sick days. As Bernie Sanders pointed out yesterday during his testimony in Congress, it would cost the rail carriers a total of $688 million per year to fulfill this demand. While that may sound like a lot, that figure is less than 3.5% of their massive annual profits. Think about that, man. They're so unwilling to give the workers a life worth living that they won't part with 3.5% of their profits. What the fuck? What the hell is that? That's a lot of fucking money, dude. I can't even calculate that in my head. That's gotta be like, I don't even know, billions upon billions of dollars in profits. It's not like they're not profitable, and they just the whole point is control, man, because they know that if they give the workers an inch, the workers are going to know that they can take a mile and demand a mile because they're the ones who keep this whole system running, you know? In fact, the rail carriers are profiting more than ever as they push their workers to the breaking point. The adoption of precision schedule railroading has dramatically reduced the number of workers while delivering immense gains to Wall Street. Instead of investing these profits in its workers or rail infrastructure, the carriers have spent $196 billion on stock buybacks since 2010. And if you're wondering what precision schedule railroading is, it's just fancy fucking corpo talk for reducing the amount of people who work there, reducing the amount of stops that they have to take, the amount of things they do to make the railroad functional so they can eke out as just as much fucking shekels as possible. That's what it's all about, man. Biden himself got personally involved and phoned in to the let's start that over. Biden himself got personally involved and phoned in to the negotiations that Labor Secretary Marty Walsh convened. White House aides worked to create contingency plans for the supply chain in the event of a strike. Republicans attempted to pass a resolution that would have enabled Congress to force workers to accept the deal, which was fortunately blocked by who else? Senator Bernie Sanders. Can you believe that shit, man? These people are such parasites. They were going to try to force the fucking workers to just eat their own shit, basically, man. Gotta love Republicans. But yeah, man, that's about it. There's a whole bunch of freaking strikes going on, or not necessarily strikes, but a whole bunch of labor activity going on in the United States right now. We're in what I hope is a long overdue wave of labor rising up and taking what is rightfully theirs, man. You know, Americans, especially the younger generation, millennials, Gen X, some Zoomers, they're the most productive generation in American history, probably the most productive generation in human history. They deserve just basic human happiness and dignity, man. So they're starting to realize that, and they're starting to take militant action, which is exactly what we need. Don't expect the politicians, even people like AOC and Bernie Sanders, to save you, man. What creates change is people on the ground cracking skulls, figuratively, of course. All right. One more second. Let me have a little intermission to smoke, and we will get into the next article here in a moment. All right. Very good. So our next article, I heard about this a while ago, where Arizona had passed a law basically limiting how and where you could film the police, which is just asking for fucking civil rights violations and police doing fucking police bullshit, typical fucking cop pig shit, planning shit, fucking beating the shit out of the people. But they don't like it when you film all that stuff, so they pass a law that basically made it illegal. We're gonna get into the article. Thank God there was a judge with some sense who struck it down. But when I first heard this, I was like, dude, what the fuck, man? Like, democracy is our frail, withering democracy is just getting chipped away more and more every day, bro. But thankfully, this shit did not stand. So, huge win for civil liberties as judge blocks Arizona law limiting filming of police. This article is from Common Dreams, written by Brett Wilkins. Civil libertarians on Friday applauded as a federal judge blocked enforcement of an Arizona law restricting how people can film police officers after agreeing that the legislation is unconstitutional. U.S. District Judge John Tucci... U.S. District Judge John Tucci granted a preliminary injunction sought by the ACLU of Arizona and media outlets on the grounds that HB 2319 violates their First Amendment rights. The law, which was passed by Arizona's Republican-controlled legislature and signed by GOP Governor Doug Ducey in July, outlaws recording police at a distance of closer than 8 feet if the officer verbally objects. It also empowers police officers to order people to stop filming them on private property, even if the property owner consents to the recording. That is fucking wild, dude. I can't even believe this shit got passed in the first place without being struck down sooner. Like, Jesus Christ. That just, like, basically gave the police officers in Arizona... It basically told the police officers in Arizona, you don't have to obey the First Amendment. Police, dude, you don't even have to tell me that, bro. We got a video lined up that we're gonna watch of cops, like I said, doing cop shit, just doing the most, being fucking bullies, bro. It's insane, man. It's fucking crazy. Like, the whole psychology of just being a cop, man. You have to think, like, at least in my opinion, a lot of the people who go into those positions, they're looking to either be a fucking badass, and they were like just the high school bullies who want to continue their high school bullying, or they're the dudes who got bullied and now it's their turn to be the big tough guy. You know what I mean? Like seriously, a lot of cops have that mentality, bro, and it's just it's sickening, man. And on top of that, you have a huge issue with like the police just basically being gangs and all but name, especially in places like Los Angeles. I mean, they're literally just straight up gangs in LA, bro. It's fucking crazy. And all around the freaking country, especially with sheriff's offices, you know, they have even less accountability than normal police stations and police officers. So it's all fucked up. You already know. I'm not telling you guys anything new. Yeah. The police department in Phoenix, the nation's fifth largest city, is currently under federal investigation not only for alleged excessive use of deadly force and racial discrimination, but also for how it handles constitutionally protected protests and the journalists covering them. Not surprising at all. Like, this is what they do. They break the law on a daily basis. They don't know the Constitution. And when people tell them this, they get angry and try to make up bullshit laws like this so they can circumvent just democracy. It's fucking wild, bro. But I'm really glad that at least some of our freaking judges have sense and aren't just fucking, I don't know, just fucking right-wing ghouls. Although there is a lot of them, because Trump, before he left office, just went on a fucking furious fucking rampage of appointments. But we'll take the wins when we can get them. NYPD is an army with bases in Asia and Europe. What? Are you fucking serious? I had no idea. Now I knew the NYPD was fucked up. I mean, come on, it's fucking New York City. There's tons of crime there, and they're definitely gonna be getting their piece of the pie in that. But bases in Asia and Europe, bro, they literally are an army. Damn, bro, what the fuck? Oh shit. All right, that was a short little article. Our next article is going to be about the shit going on in Ukraine and just India and China kind of just, I wouldn't say regretting backing Putin, but just trying to use their influence to curtail that. God damn it. Poopy. Let's see what you got here, Jokester. We need to be positioned 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, all around the globe to react in New York City in real time. Jesus Christ, dude. They are on that full-on fucking imperialism mode, bro. Jesus. For almost 20 years, the Police Foundation has funded the stationing of NYPD intelligence officers across the globe to gather first-hand intelligence on worldwide counter-terror operations. My God, man, it goes even deeper than I thought. Man, the cops just want to be a whole straight up fucking army now, dude. What the hell? There's a map at the bottom. Let's check it out. Holy fuck, my guy. What? They do not need all that bullshit, man. What the fuck? Have Interpol check that shit out. They're trying to be fucking international super spies and shit. Just fucking LARPing, bro. Come on. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, shit. All right. Let's start this shit over. Off the back of my citizen of NY. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. And they're using that shit for their own bullshit too. Spying on their fucking wives that they beat constantly. All that good shit, man. Power corrupts, man. What can I say? We need better. We need what I advocate for is, I mean, first of all, just abolish policing the way that it is right now. I'm not saying that we don't need like a policing force or a community defense force, but we need to take all the people who are out, because the brain rot of the departments goes deep, man. There's a lot of white nationalists who have infiltrated the police as well as the military, but they've infiltrated the police, and it's just on top of the fact that policing has like a history of racism. I mean, a lot of police stations in the South, they started off as slave catching patrols, you know what I mean? And that bias doesn't simply go away. And that was not that long ago. That was like maybe a generation ago, So deep scars within the community that policing has caused and continues to cause. And we need just a whole reset of the system, man, Yeah. But all right, let's get into this fourth article here. All right. As India joins China in distancing from Russia, Putin warns of escalation. Underlining Russia's widening isolation on the world stage, Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India told President Vladimir V. Putin on Friday that it is no time for war, even as the Russian president threatened to escalate the brutality of his campaign, in Ukraine. The televised critique by Mr. Modi at a regional summit in Uzbekistan came just a day after Mr. Putin acknowledged that Xi Jinping, China's leader, had questions and concerns about the war. So, I'm sure you guys already know, but Russia is getting fucking absolutely clobbered in Ukraine right now. Now, I'm not one of those people who like jump on that information and I'm like, oh, it's over, Ukraine, they got it, they're gonna fucking liberate themselves and it's all gonna be freaking fine and dandy. No, wars have ups and downs, sides gain and lose, but they did lose a pretty significant amount, and I think that made China and India, who have been nominally not supporting the war, but still supporting Russia and not falling in line with NATO and the West in terms of sanctions and cutting off Russia from the global economy. I think they're starting to realize that the stability that this war is causing around the world in terms of supply chains and the economy globally is just might not be worth their support. So they're trying to, in their, political maneuvering ways, rein in Russia and be like, well, can we try to talk about this and see what's going on? Because this really isn't good for us. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but I do want to say as well, like, obviously, I support Ukraine being sovereign and having its own state without having the threat of fucking invasions and annexations around them. But they're not making it easier for Russia to stop this invasion. Like, they've ruled out talks that would, or like negotiations that would include them giving up the Donbass region of Ukraine, which in my view, it's like, I understand you want to maintain like the integrity of your state, but when there's thousands upon thousands of people dying and all this destruction, I think you do have to make compromises. Not saying those compromises are good or necessarily fair, but in my eyes, the less death and destruction, the better, instead of beating your chest and being like, oh, yep, we're big and powerful and you can't step on us. There has to be more nuance, in my opinion. Anyway, that's just that's an aside. All right. Taken together, the distancing from Mr. Putin by the heads of the world's two most populous countries, both of which have been pivotal to sustaining Russia's economy in the face of Western sanctions, punctured the Kremlin's message that Russia was far from a global pariah. I know that today's era is not of war, Mr. Modi told Mr. Putin at the beginning of their meeting, describing global challenges like the food and energy crises that were hitting developing countries especially hard. Today, we will get a chance to discuss how we can move forward on the path of peace. So again, kind of saying it without saying it, they're trying to gently persuade Putin to take a less aggressive approach on Ukraine, which, hey, that's good for Ukraine. I'm not complaining, but at the end of the day, it's just all power politics, man. It's what it always is. India is like a rising superpower, and they don't want to risk that rise going all in for a superpower that, or not really even a superpower anymore, but a former superpower trying to retain or regain superpower status. It's like, you guys you guys are kind of like, damn. Like, Russia is kind of fading away from the global stage, and India wants to make sure that it's one of the countries that kind of takes the place in this kind of global maneuvering. You know what I mean? All right. So the implicit criticism of Mr. Putin underscored that he now faces perhaps his most challenging moment of recent months, suffering not just these diplomatic setbacks, but also retreats on the battlefield and intensifying questions back home. And you know what? I think I actually looked at this article and it shows. Yeah. So it shows the area that Ukraine has taken back. So and this is just in 1 week, as opposed to what Russia had captured in 5 months. So obviously, I mean, Russia's fucking hurting. You can say whatever about, their size and their equipment, but they're getting fucked up pretty hard right now. And again, not to say that they're going to lose because they have more people. I mean, in my eyes, that's one of the biggest things, man. Just they can just keep on throwing soldiers there to try and brute force the problem. And a big reason why Ukraine is also doing so well is because the U.S. and NATO is just fucking pouring in weapons and aid, man, which I also kind of disagree with. Like, I'm all for, like, humanitarian aid, obviously, like, sending, like, Doctors Without Borders and food aid and infrastructure aid, rebuilding infrastructure of civilian areas. But, I mean, they're sending in fucking bombs by the ton, you know what I mean? And they're also providing, like, intelligence to them. Like, I'm surprised that Russia hasn't already declared war on NATO and the U.S. I mean, obviously that wouldn't be great for them, but I mean, like, we are, make no mistake, at war with Russia, doing everything but having boots on the ground there. It's a dangerous fucking situation that could escalate quickly. So yeah, just wanted to show you guys that there real quick. The implicit criticism of Mr. Putin underscored that he now faces perhaps his most challenging moment of recent months, suffering not just these diplomatic setbacks, but also retreats on the battlefield and intensifying questions back home over how he has conducted the war. That's something I also wanted to bring up too. Like, because of our interconnected internet age that we live in now, propaganda does not work like it used to. And the people who make the propaganda know this. So there's only so much lying and bullshitting they can do before they have to admit some things aren't okay. And you can see that in Russia right now on their, like, state news programs. They're starting to have a broader, more nuanced debate about the war, as opposed to before when they first went in. They shut all the opposition down and was like, no, Russia's the best. This is about, reunifying the post-Soviet lands and denazifying the Ukraine, which admittedly Ukraine does have a Nazi problem, but so does Russia and pretty much every other fucking majority white nation on earth. Yeah, so, but Mr. Putin's own next step remain a mystery, and Western officials believe that he could still drastically escalate the intensity of Russia's assault if he is confronted with further defeats. In a news conference Friday after the summit of Asian leaders, Mr. Putin described a recent Russian cruise missile attacks on Ukrainian civilian infrastructure as warning strikes that could portend, I don't fucking know, that could cause an even more vicious campaign. At the same time, apparently mindful of the unease among key partners like China and India, Mr. Putin insisted that he was ready for talks without naming any preconditions, and that his war aims did not necessarily extend to all of Ukraine. He made no mention on Friday of the border goals of demilitarizing and denazifying Ukraine that he announced when he started the war in February, terms that were widely seen as Mr. Putin declaring his intention to achieve political control over the country. And that's definitely what it was. Like, in the beginning, I think Putin had kind of like an inflated overconfidence of the military might of Russia and just kind of jumped the gun. I mean, in my opinion, like this whole action by him and the government and the military of Russia was just stupid, man. Like, it's like they made themselves a pariah state to all of the West, while you have these other superpowers who are struggling to become these superpowers and have this dominance, who don't want to rock the boat too much and risk that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow that they're seeing right now. So they're between a rock and a hard place. I really don't understand the mindset other than just a old egotistical sociopath wanting to play emperor, bro. Play that freaking imperialist game. Shit, only he knows, I guess, man. It's freaking crazy. All of this just strong man bullshit that has led to countless lives lost and ruined, man. It's truly fucking sad. Very, very freaking harrowing, man. At the same time, apparently mindful of the unease among partners like China and India, Mr. Putin... okay, yeah, I already read that. He said that the main goal of his invasion was limited to capturing the Donbass, the eastern Ukrainian region where Russia has recognized as independent two Kremlin-backed statelets, but where Ukraine still controls several key cities and towns. And like I said, Ukraine is not willing to give up those cities. I say cut your freaking losses, get the people who aren't in those regions back to living a normal life as soon as possible and work something out, man. This is not about appearing big and bad and powerful. This is about limiting human destruction and loss of life. But most of our leaders don't give a shit about that. It's all a political game. Zelensky is honestly particularly just disgusting to me. The way that he goes about this, like fucking, he'll go to meetings with other world leaders and he'll be wearing like the freaking like the undergarment of like, you know, military gear, just trying to look badass, I guess. I think it's sickening and just stupid. He is an actor, so I guess he can't help himself, but that's beside the point, man. Just all our leaders suck. Mr. Putin has repeatedly warned that Russia's assault could still intensify, a threat now weighing on American officials, who believe Mr. Putin could increase the size of Russia's forces deployed to Ukraine or could mount attacks against the NATO countries, providing Ukraine with arms. The officials also say Russia could mount a new push in Ukraine's east or south, or step up a campaign to target the Ukrainian leadership. Oh, excuse me. Again, that's something that I've been personally worried about, is like, NATO and the US are going really hard with the aid, really hard with the support for Ukraine. And you never know when Russia is going to say that enough is enough and declare war on maybe one of the smaller NATO countries. And I don't think that the bigger NATO countries in America would necessarily step in militarily because it's too big of a risk. I mean, like, it could spell fucking nuclear devastation for everyone on Earth. So even what we're doing right now could do that. So it's a dangerous game. It's a dangerous game that they're playing. Expanding his capacity to fight the war, however, would require Mr. Putin to build up his military. So far, Mr. Putin has been unwilling to announce a widespread full military mobilization, and many American officials believe that that is off the table because of the political repercussions domestically. 100%. I don't think drafts really work anymore, especially in more developed nations. Like, nobody wants to fight and go die over some pointless bullshit. Like, there would be mass protests. I would assume that the polls are fudged that show the support being like super, like being showing the Russians being super supportive of the war. It's probably bullshit. If I had to guess, it's probably like 50-50 over there. Again, that's just a guess, but they would not go for a draft. I don't think any developed nation would. But former American officials said Mr. Putin could take a smaller, less politically destabilizing step, calling up more reservists and returning military veterans to service. We are not fighting with our full army, Mr. Putin said on Friday, while asserting that his military plans for the invasion need no adjustment. That is just such... that's just so childish to me, man. He's like, you haven't even seen my full power, but we're still doing good, and don't correct me. I'm doing good. Like, come on, man. Such an insecure fucking weirdo, bro. That's who power attracts, man. Just people who have the need to dominate others, or are just so insecure they want to dominate others to feel like they have that control, man. The main goal is the liberation of the entire territory of Donbass, Mr. Putin said. This work continues despite these counteroffensive attempts by the Ukrainian army. The general staff considers some things important, some things secondary, but the main task remains unchanged, and it is being implemented. But when he sat down with Mr. Modi, the Indian Prime Minister, Mr. Putin was markedly more demure. Along with China, India has emerged as a pivotal financier for Moscow during the war, including by purchasing Russian energy at a discount. Both countries have also provided Mr. Putin relief at the United Nations, abstaining from votes critical of Russia's aggression. So again, India is kind of in a similar position to China, where they're not necessarily aligned with the global order of NATO and the United States and those Western European countries. And they're trying to play all angles to get as much as they can economically and political out of Russia. So again, they'll buy the gas from Russia because it's cheaper, but they aren't going to go full in and support this war because, like I said, it hurts the global supply chain, which hurts India. Raises prices, makes food harder to buy, all that good stuff. India's steady relationship with Moscow long predates its recent expansion of ties with the United States. Russia has remained the main source of cheaper arms for India's military. So again, you can see just trying to play all sides to get that leg up. So when Mr. Modi told Mr. Putin on camera on Friday that today's era is not of war, it was a signal that a country that the Kremlin has billed as friendly was now trying to distance itself. Mr. Putin claimed to the Indian leader that it was Ukraine's fault that the war continued because Kiev was not suing for peace, but he acknowledged Mr. Modi's displeasure. I mean, it's your fault because you started the fucking war. But again, I begrudgingly kind of have to agree with him, man. I mean, the powers that be in Ukraine are going for this full-on death or like victory or glory and death type of attitude, where it's like, we will not, capitulate to the Russian aggressors and blah 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 blah. But it's like, again, do you care more about some lines on a map or do you care about human lives? It's obviously they care more about the lines on the map. At least that's my opinion. I know your position on the conflict in Ukraine, your concerns that you constantly express. We will do our best to stop this as soon as possible, Mr. Putin said. Only unfortunately, the opposing side, the leadership of Ukraine, announced its abandonment of the negotiation process, which they did, again. And not to keep on shitting on Ukraine, so let me reiterate, Russia is the aggressive, they're the bad guys, as much as nations can be good guys and bad guys, just putting that out there. In his news conference, Mr. Putin offered another oblique acknowledgement that China's government, too, is unhappy over the war in Ukraine. In part, analysts say, because the resulting turmoil in global food and energy markets has threatened China's economic growth. It's all about the money, baby. They're hurting from exports being more expensive and them not being able to get the vital resources that they need to keep industry moving and shaking. So they're like, come on, man, what the fuck are you doing over there? There were also issues related to crises, Mr. Putin told reporters, describing his meeting with Mr. Xi the previous day. These issues were also discussed in a well-meaning but principled manner. Yeah, I mean, so overall, you see these countries not really happy with the progress Russia is doing. I guarantee you that if Russia had been more successful, they would have kind of placed their bets more on Russia's side. But they see that Russia's kind of struggling, not necessarily going to be defeated again. I've seen a lot of articles being like, oh, this is the end for Russia. It is most definitely not, And on top of that, Putin seems like he has a very big ego, and he doesn't want his ego bruised by retreating from this war, So we'll have to see what happens. It's interesting to see these players kind of put their chess pieces into position and maneuver and all of this bullshit, man, Well, all right. Those are our articles for today. I think I'm going to take about just like a little 5-minute break, and then we are going to go ahead and get into the good part, the juicy stuff that you guys all come here, which is the React content. I know you guys love it, and we will be right back with it. All right, I'm back. Give me just a moment here to get all freaking prepared for this onslaught of cringe. Just one moment, please. Taking it slow. Thanks, by the way, for tuning in, bro. I really appreciate it. Sometimes I'm like, man, why the fuck am I doing this? This shit is fucking what the hell? But like, then when I come on, when I just get past that bullshit and come on and have people and interact, it's fun and it's just fucking, it's a good time. You know what I mean? I like talking about shit like this, so really appreciate it. I seriously do. All right. So, our first video is going to be from a very, very freaking creepy individual. Oh, there we go. There we go. I really, really appreciate it. We're going to keep this train on freaking moving. Every time I get a follower, I tell them, bro, just stick with me. Fucking Prolcast 100 years. That's what we're going to get to, bro. I swear to God. But anyway, we're going to be looking at this video from freaking Matt Walsh. If you don't know who Matt Walsh is, he's a very, very fucking creepy man. On his Twitter bio, he literally calls himself a fucking, what is it? A Christian, a theocratic fascist. So you know he's a fun guy. He gives me the impression that he had some really bad shit happen to him when he was a kid, and now he clings to this really just fucking old school Christian lifestyle to kind of make up for it. I love to fucking just be a fucking armchair psychologist and try to delve into the weird fucking psychology of rightoids, but I digress. Today, he says, I'm gonna be classy. There you go, bro. Not joking. Hey, bro. We gotta have some levity in this world, man. I seriously wish him all the best. He's just a creepy motherfucker, for real. And he's for some weird shit. He really is, bro. I'd say look into him, but maybe not. You know, spare yourself from the freaking insanity. Shit, man. But what he's gonna be talking about today is fucking the casting in the new fucking, man, what the fuck is it? The casting in the new Little Mermaid movie, and he's real pissed off that she's black, and apparently it's racist. Why in the fuck does the military buy Viagra? What the fuck? Bro, the military is weird, bro. I was in the military. They act like it's still the 1950s up in that, dude. Like, I have no that specifically, I did not know that. That is pretty fucking weird, but weirder shit happens in the military, I will tell you, bro. It is a very odd thing to be a part of. It's like being in a fucking cult. It seriously is. Some of these dudes are brainwashed by this shit, bro. They want to be high speed and they're a super soldier, you know? And the dudes who usually act like that are just the fucking pudgy fucking dudes who have been sergeant for like fucking 20 years, you know, never got a promotion. It's a weird culture, bro. It seriously is. But enough of the freaking preamble. Let's get into it. Yeah, if I can find the freaking button. So again, casting a new Disney movie is blatantly racist. If that's not projection, I don't know what the fuck is, man. Let's see what this man has to say. Yeah, but Castro was a real person. The Little Mermaid is a fucking half fish creature, bro. There's kind of a difference. You know what I mean? Oh shit, volume mutes even the streams. Can you hear it? Give me a second. You just saved my ass, bro. I gotta start remembering this shit, man. Like, I didn't record the first half of my stream, so the clips from that are gonna be shitty because I gotta download it from YouTube. I was about to talk over fucking nothing, bro. Thank you. You fucking saved my ass. I'll get there eventually, man. Let's fucking start this shit over.
Back in August, it was announced that the actor James Franco had been cast to play Fidel Castro in an upcoming film. As Axios reported at the time, the casting decision sparked anger. Many on the left accused Franco of participating in whitewashing.
So, like I just said, man, Castro was a real person. The Little Mermaid is an imaginary fish person. It doesn't matter what race the imaginary fish person is, Walsh. Come on now, we can do better than that.
The Washington Post ran an article claiming that the incident highlights the alleged ongoing problem of Latino exclusion in Hollywood. Fellow actor John Leguizamo.
Now, for me, like, personally, I don't really give a shit. Like, I think James Franco was a good actor. I know he had some shit. He got Me Too'd and whatever. That's a whole different story. Like, I don't mind race changing in films. I think both sides are kind of up their own ass about it. It's fucking a film, dude. You know what I mean? Like, it really doesn't matter. I do think that it's good to have that representation within, you know, pop culture and all that shit, and in our cinema and video games and all that good stuff, you know? But at the end of the day, it's just a fucking movie. Come on. And this dude just taking it in a whole different direction just for his own stupid fucking agenda, dude.
Blasted the casting as appropriation, called for a boycott. Many others agreed that Franco should not be allowed to appropriate a brutal dictator from Latinos. He may be a mass.
He said, served a guy at work wearing a Breaking Bad t-shirt. I complimented him on the shirt and asked him if he'd watch Better Call Saul, and said he got bored of it by the end. Hope I never have to serve him again. Oof, damn, yeah. Kinda cringe, bro. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen it, but it does look dope, bro. I watched Breaking Bad all the way through, and that shit was awesome, man. I like barely watch TV anymore, man. But fuck that guy. He doesn't have good taste. I love you. I think you already followed me, so I love you even more. Kiss, kiss, mwah, mwah. Let's get back into it.
Murdering psychopath, but he's their mass murdering psychopath, damn it. It didn't matter that Franco actually looks a lot like.
Wait, what'd he say?
He may be a mass murdering psychopath, but he's their mass murdering psychopath, damn it.
I mean, Castro wasn't really a mass murdering psychopath. He did go a little freaking goofy mode on the landlords and shit when he took over, but all that shit is just grossly freaking exaggerated because of propaganda, man. You know how it is. I mean, Cuba was communist, or they had a communist revolution. They were right next to the U.S. They didn't like that. They tried and failed to get it, to get that freaking government overturned. Castro's and whatever his face, the most famous fucking revolutionary in the world. I can't remember his name. They tried to overthrow them. It didn't work. And they got pissy about it. And they have sanctions on them to this day because they're pissed off. The video of him saying he doesn't wear a bulletproof vest is Chad energy. Yeah, exactly, bro. Dude, I stan Castro, you know. I mean, I shouldn't say that. He did have some fucking bad views on, like, homosexuals and all that bullshit. But he's one of the most Chad people to have existed. And you cannot deny that. Come on now. The fucking beard, the dope ass pictures, bro. Those him and fucking Che Guevara, they're my boos, baby. Come on.
It didn't matter that Franco actually looks a lot like Fidel Castro. It also didn't matter that Franco and Castro are not that far apart ethnically. Castro's father was from Spain, while Franco's grandfather is from Portugal. It also, of course, didn't matter that the job of an actor is to act, that is to pretend to be something that you are not.
He's making a little bit too much sense right now, bro. Come on, get to the juicy part where I can make fun of you. Let's do it.
None of that matters in such cases. All that matters is that Franco is white, and white people must stay in their acting lane. Now, by the way, John Leguizamo.
Okay, you kind of lost me there, bro. I mean, like, you can't deny that Hollywood did, and to a certain extent, has a history of whitewashing, you know what I mean? And I'll kind of walk back what I said. I do understand Oh no, you know what? Actually, I did say that. Yeah, it's a historical piece, bro. People are gonna want to have that historical accuracy with the people who are being portrayed in that. I mean, come on, it's not about race. He's just racist, so everything is about race with him. You know?
Was born in Colombia, but his first prominent role in Hollywood was portraying the Nintendo character Luigi, who is an Italian plumber, according to the Nintendo canon. That doesn't matter either, though, as we'll cover in a moment.
Video games and fantasy movies, again, are different from historical dramas, man. Like, it's in the freaking title, history. There isn't a real Luigi out in the world saving the Mushroom fucking Kingdom, bro. Come on. And that, exactly, fucking... So instead of 500 points taken away from Slytherin, we're going to take 1,000 points. Come on, Matt. You can do better than this, baby. Come on.
Now, over the years, there have been many outrages and controversies stemming from instances of alleged whitewashing. The anger is no less palpable when the role in question is a fictional character. In 2017, a British actor was forced to drop out of a Hellboy film because the character he was supposed to play was Japanese in the original comic. A few years before.
Yeah, well, no, that is stupid. That's just some fucking lib woke fucking R words just doing everything they can to appear woke while doing nothing in their personal lives to help people out. You know what I mean? It's all about like, oh yes, I'm very woke, and I do say that this person in the comic was not British, he was Japanese, so you better make my fictional character the right race. That is stupid. The guy who played Mario said he was drunk. I can imagine, man, that was just a fucking paycheck, especially back in the day. When did that movie come out? Like the fucking 90s? Like, he was like, what the fuck is a Mario? I'll do this stupid ass bullshit, I guess. All right.
For that, Emma Stone's casting as an Asian woman in a romantic comedy provoked so much wrath from the left that the director of the film had to issue a written apology for the film he directed. And Stone herself has since apologized for her participation in the project. That same year, Rooney Mara had to grovel and beg for forgiveness after starring as Tiger Lily in a Peter Pan adaptation. The left declared that the fictional character is supposed to be Native American. Rooney Mara is not. And she agreed. And now she says that she's haunted by guilt because of...
Jesus, don't go that far, dude. Come on. I mean, I get it. It was a little passe to take on the role, but don't fucking kill yourself over it. Come on now. It's a fucking movie, dude. Oh my goodness.
Portraying that character in the film. The outrage extends into the cartoon realm as well, where last year Hank Azaria famously apologized and announced that he was...
But you know what he's doing, man? It's false equivalency, bro. It's literally just movies, bro. It's fictional fucking bullshit. And I'm guessing by his title, he's gonna turn around and just do the same shit that he's accusing these other people of doing, is just like focusing on the race of a fucking fish person when it does not matter. It does not matter.
Away from his role as Apu in The Simpsons on the basis that he shouldn't be voicing a character of Indian descent. In fact, the show's producers have since said...
All right.
She wasn't white, but she appeared to be kind of white adjacent. Came under fire because the brown actress who played Jasmine was not brown enough. Now, she wasn't white.
Okay. Enough examples.
Neurosis. Now, it may then come as a surprise.
There we go.
To the most naive among us, anyway, that the very same media which complains bitterly about what
believes in God, calls people naive,
whites in traditionally non-white roles, and the very same leftists who treat the whitening of...
He is truly, dude, he's the most sussy fucking baka you will ever meet in your life, my guy. What are you talking about? You can just see in that cold, blank stare, man. He has been through some rough stuff. I'm not going to delve into what. And he's just like, okay, God, Christianity, please shield me from it. Please. This man's got some demons, I'm telling you.
Non-white characters as literal genocide. And all the people who've taken this issue so seriously as to cause many white Hollywood actors to drop out of films and fall to their knees in apology.
Yeah, right.
Would all this week be so excited about the release of the first trailer for Disney's upcoming Little Mermaid live-action copy and paste
She's black! Oh my god!
job? Now, everything is mostly the same in the remake, as always. It's like shot for shot, exactly the same, except that the Little Mermaid herself, a pale redhead in the cartoon version, has been recast as a black woman.
Didn't you just say you didn't give a fuck, man? Pick a lane. Pick a fucking lane. What are you arguing about? He's just doing this shit for content at this point, dude. Come on.
Still with red hair, somehow. This is part of a growing trend. As the anger about whitewashing increases, so in equal proportion does the demand for what we must in the reverse call blackwashing. A viral post on Twitter declares rapturously, a black Cinderella, a black Belle on Broadway, a black Cinderella on Broadway, and now a black Ariel.
I actually do think it's a good thing to take these, again, fictional stories and inject color into them in some instances, because children do need people to look up to and emulate, you know? Melissa McCarthy as Ursula is awful, though. I didn't see it. I don't even know who Melissa McCarthy is. Let me check. Melissa McCarthy. I haven't seen that movie. I mean, my opinion is, yeesh. Okay, her. Yeah, she's a terrible fucking actor and comedian in everything she does, so that's not surprising. I mean, the casting for most of these new fucking Disney movies have just been dog shit, to be frank. And I mean, they don't even need to remake these movies, man. It's just, it's what brings in the big bucks because of nostalgia, so they keep on making it, man. I mean, I was looking at reviews for the new Pinocchio movie, and I saw the trailers. It looks fucking atrocious. You know what I mean? Like, and I hate the freaking fairy, not because she's black, just because it looks weird as shit. You know what I mean? Like, they did not, the casting choice was not bueno with that one, bro. Like, Jesus Christ.
The black girls
but like I said, like all the new Disney movies, especially the remakes, suck ass. They're just out of creative juice. Even with the Marvel shit, it fucking sucks ass. She-Hulk was an abomination. Like, they're running on steams now, just trying to pump out the fucking content from the corpse of fucking Mickey Mouse, dude. That's all it's about.
Truly winning. Much to the left's approval, the black girls are winning, quote unquote, in historical retellings too. Last year, a black woman was cast as Anne Boleyn, the 16th century Queen of England, in an upcoming miniseries. Netflix currently features a show starring a black woman as a Viking warrior. Many other examples.
So that shit, I mean, I think I'm going to get some lefty points deducted from me for saying the shit, but I do think that is kind of fucking stupid. Like, if you're making a historical piece, make it historical. You know what I mean? Like, sure, there's like some instances where, you know, the race mix and there was different, like, people with different ethnicities, like, participating in that lifestyle. I can kind of give the Viking shit a pass, because a lot of Vikings actually did, kind of come in contact with the Arab world, and, you know, they had Arabs who converted to paganism, as well as Vikings who, or and Norsemen who converted to Islam. But, like, making the fucking queen of some European country black, that's like, I don't know, what are you doing there, man? At that point, you are kind of proving Matt Walsh's point. You know what I mean? Where it's like, it's just weird to me. I mean, again, it's just a movie, and maybe she's a good actor, and it'll be good. But I mean, like, it does kind of take you out of the historical aspect. But again, it's just entertainment, man. We don't need to get our fucking dicks in a knot over some bullshit like this, you know?
Come to mind, too many to count. They even fired Jake from State Farm and replaced him with a black version. And then there are the examples yet to be. For instance, there's
that was a weird example, man. Sometimes commercials just change. They never said it was because Jake from State Farm is a white boy soy cuck, bro. We need a big black Chad to cover State Farm. I highly doubt that was the reason. I'm just saying.
Still a major push to find somebody other than a white man to fill James Bond's shoes in the next installment. Now, in all of these cases, two things are guaranteed. Or actually more than two, a few things. When a black actor plays a traditionally white role, portraying either a fictional character or a historical figure, the media, the left, and Hollywood itself will celebrate the move as pioneering and courageous and important, along with all the other requisite superlatives.
I mean, I think there also is a point to be made, I guess, now that I think about it, of like kind of doing the reverse as like a political stance of like, man, there's a point I'm trying to make where it's kind of like where you do the thing that your oppressor is doing to call out that hypocrisy in the media, you know? Like, which, I mean, again, it's like cinema. Is it really that important, you know? Hollywood is just full of lib-brained corporate dum-dums who just do what they think will be woke to appeal to the wider general market. You know what I mean? I'm sure they're all a bunch of fucking terrible fucking rapist pedophiles in their heart of hearts. Don't worry, Matt. They're on your side.
The other guarantee is that any criticism of the casting decision, even and especially criticism that simply adopts the same logic as the left applies to so-called whitewashing, will be slammed as racist.
This guy's playing some 4D chess right now, bro. Like, he's doing the same exact shit that he's accusing them of doing, but for some reason it's okay when he does it? I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand at all.
Daily Beast today has an article documenting what it calls the racist backlash to The Black Little Mermaid, declaring this backlash to be out of control. The racism is out of control, they say. Then you click on the article, and in the article, they provide a few tweets from random accounts complaining that the underwater scenes don't look realistic. So,
man, that is such bullshit, man. Like, I've seen the quartering, that fat fuck complain about it, go on his tirades about how he wants his fucking white, pure fucking Ariel. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but all those freaking dumb fucking nerds who care about this shit and rile up their other fucking racist nerds to whip them up into a fucking racist frenzy, dude. Every time shit like this happens, the fucking rightoid weirdos crawl out of their fucking caves to complain about it, man. They're talking about, oh, the end of Western civilization and our beautiful white culture. Every single time without fail. So he's just obscuring the fucking prominent people who are making these points for his own video, his own propaganda, which is par for the course for this fucking asshole.
The Daily Beast article about racist backlash contains no racist backlash, or even backlash that vaguely mentions race. They simply determined that the criticism of the film's bad CGI is really racially motivated. It's a dog whistle, as they like to say. That's the third guarantee, that when a film casts a black actor in a white role, any criticism of the film, any criticism, even criticism that makes no mention of race, is racist.
I mean, but that's just a small minority, man. Like, a perfect example is like the criticism with She-Hulk. It's like people aren't criticizing that movie because, I mean, some people are because it's a woman and she's doing that freaking hashtag girl blast bullshit. Most of it is just because the show is fucking bad. You know what I mean? Like, I totally blinked out there. I was gonna make a point, but shit, you're gonna have to figure out what the fuck I was trying to say. Let's get back into it.
Which is why you can't criticize the new Lord of the Rings series or the Game of Thrones prequel without revealing yourself to be a member of the KKK.
I mean, he's not wrong. The vast majority of the people who do complain about this shit, they're racist. Deep down, they're racist. But they don't necessarily think that they're racist. You know, there's some weird cognitive dissonance going on where they try to complain about shit around the subject without outright outing themselves as just being like, yeah, she's black and I don't like it because I like white people in my movies. You know, like, usually it's just as simple as that.
Such situations, the left also likes to employ its favorite sleight of hand trick that we talk about all the time on this show. This is something that they will surely use in
outing
response.
Themselves as racist. Yeah, exactly, man. You know, as racist or sexist. You know what I mean? Where, like with the She-Hulk shit, you'll see like a ton of valid criticism online, and then all of a sudden some fucking incel will be like, yeah, and she was standing up for this and that, and she was like, women can't be lawyers. What the hell are you talking about? And everyone else is like, ooh, that's not what we were talking about. You know?
So this very monologue you're listening to right now, when Media Matters clips it and posts it to Twitter with a caption like, Daily Wire host launches into racist tirade about Black Little Mermaid. Guaranteed they're going to do that.
Kinda.
And when they do, the left is going to respond to it by scoffing and saying, well, why do you care so much? It's just a movie about a mermaid. It's just a mini-series about the Queen of England.
Damn, he called me out right now, bro. Shots fired.
It's just a show about a Viking. It's just entertainment. Why are you even talking about this? Aren't there more important issues?
There definitely
Of
are.
course, they themselves have made exceedingly clear that racial accuracy in entertainment, whether fictional or historical, is extremely important to them. They've been saying this for years.
I mean, he's just saying the same shit over and over again. I'm going to stop it right here. I mean, the bottom line, the thing that we should take away from this is that context matters. You know, like with the shit with Castro, it's obviously understandable that people want an accurate representation. But when it comes to fucking fairy tales in fucking fantasy worlds, it's like, who gives a shit? At the end of the day, my personal opinion is who gives a shit about any of it. But again, I do understand where the people are coming from when it comes to historical shit, you know? Besides that, just shut up, bro. Let people fucking act and have fun in their little make-believe fantasy world. It's not hurting you. It's not hurting your precious fucking Christian white race, bro. Like, get over yourself. All right, so that now we're gonna get into some shit that like severely fucking pisses me off. Like Tulsi Gabbard, she came on the scene during the Democratic primaries in 2016, and she seemed like someone who was like nominally progressive, but the further along we get in this fucked up crazy world and this fucked up crazy timeline, we see that I don't know, bro. Like, she's just a straight up sociopath. She completely flipped, and now she's one of those people who, I don't even know if she calls herself a Democrat anymore, but she's one of those people who are like, oh, well, like I'm a Democrat, but I don't believe in these crazy freaking woke communists doing all their freaking bullshit. And so she's going to be on Fox News, fear mongering as Fox News loves to do. Let's see what dumb shit she has to say. Make sure fucking you can actually hear it too. Yeah.
Congresswoman. All right, Tulsi, I did not see this coming on the anniversary. Let's turn to Tulsi Gabbard, former presidential candidate and Hawaii Congresswoman. All right, Tulsi, I did not see this coming.
Damn,
on
she's
the
still a...
anniversary
no, I think she's a former congressman. I don't think she's anymore.
of 9/11. Can you believe that they just casually just sprinkle in January 6th and say that Trump voters are worse than out?
So I don't know exactly what they're talking about. I'm guessing like some Democrat, maybe Joe Biden, mentioned January 6th during some 9/11 shit, which is like, okay, yeah, that's a bit much. But I mean, come on, man. Like the way that I view January 6th is that even though at the end of the day, they definitely weren't going to be able to overthrow the government. They got people killed, and they could have got a whole lot more people killed, and it was kind of the beginning of a fascist rise in America, man. Some leftists like to act like it really wasn't shit, and oh, who cares, and they make fun of them just for being fucking right-wing idiots, which they are, but it's a sign of just a dark tide rising in America, man. You'll see how this works within capitalism, man, is when the system starts failing, when people are suffering, a certain percentage of the population turn to fascism. And it's usually, you know, in America, it's usually a large percentage of the white population that turns to fascism. I mean, America inspired the Nazis in terms of their race sciences. You know what I mean? So we're in for some crazy shit. I honestly do think that some crazy shit is going to be happening. Some crazy shit already has started happening with them banning books in schools and overturning Roe v. Wade. There's a huge fascist uprising here in America, man. And of course, the fucking goons at Fox News downplay it in some segments and then amplify it in others. It's what they do, man. They're just right-wing fascist propaganda network, man.
Al-Qaeda? Where do we end up at this point from here?
Jesse, I feel sick right now. Seeing you play these different clips, you know, I, like so many of my fellow service members, I enlisted because of those jihadist attacks on 9/11 to support and defend our Constitution, to protect our fellow Americans, and to go after and kill those who attacked us on that day.
Well, great job, because you didn't do fucking any of that when you went over. I know I'm going off on a fucking aside, but I mean, the weapons of mass destruction were not there. We went over there for oil, bro. Just admit it. Like, it's over. Everybody knows this now.
And it is despicable and outrageous to hear these people say the things that they're saying, comparing our fellow Americans to terrorists. Actually, worse.
But they are terrorists. They literally got people killed. The fucking what's that people? I don't think it was the Proud Boys. It was one of those right-wing militia groups. One of them brought a fucking bomb to the Capitol during January 6th, bro. That's the definition of terrorism. And white nationalist terrorism is literally the number one inside threat to the United States government at this point. There's been. Let me look up the freaking Wikipedia article, man. Give me 1 second. Right now, terrorism. Yeah, here we go. The numbers are fucking crazy, man. By far and away, right-wing terrorism has killed and caused destruction on massive scales compared to fucking jihad terrorism. And there's literally been zero. Let me just fucking find it if I can. Economy, fringe groups, copycat, roll. Specific one. Yeah, here we go. Where is post 2001? I'm gonna read a little bit of this, bro, and just look at how much crazy shit right-wing white nationalist militias have done since 2001. They want to talk about fucking terrorism and how disgusting it is to compare. According to a report which was published by the Center for Strategic and International Studies, as of 2020, right-wing terrorism accounted for the majority of terrorist attacks and plots in the United States. As of May 2022, the New America Foundation placed a number killed in terrorist attacks in the United States since 9/11 as follows: 122 killed in far-right attacks, 107 killed in jihadist attacks, 7 killed in ideological misogyny incel attacks. I love that. 12 killed in black separatist nationalist supremacist attacks, and 1 killed in a far-left attack. So the numbers are right there, man. They're on the rise, bro, and it is scary and it is serious, and our politicians should be talking about it. But of course, the right wing and useful idiots of the right wings, or I wouldn't call Tulsi Gabbard a useful idiot. I mean, look at her fucking creepy ass face. She's a sociopath through and through, man. Like, she doesn't give a fuck about anything except her own political gains and her political power and her popularity, bro. That's all she cares about. She's a soulless fucking goon.
Literally said they are worse than Al-Qaeda terrorists.
By the numbers, they literally are. They literally are.
This just shows how far they are willing to go, pushing our country to the brink of civil war, demonizing, targeting our fellow Americans as worse than Al-Qaeda.
Right-wingers are the ones who love to talk about civil war, bro. Now, I'm kind of conflicted on whether or not that could actually happen, you know? I'd say it's more likely than it used to be, but the people who want the Civil War the most are the right-wingers, bro. They can't wait to kill all the fucking people that don't fit into their narrow view of society, bro. It's just how it is. It's how it's been since the founding of fucking America. Are you serious?
To terrorists, all to hold on to their power. That's all they care about. Whether you're talking about
fake
the
news.
Biden
I don't know if you're with me or for me, but I love you anyway, bro. Give me that follow if you want to fucking who lock Canadian truckers out of their bank accounts. I mean, I'm not talking about Canada right now, am I? Right wingers, right? Based. There we go. Thanks for the follow. Right wingers, right? Fake news. Oh, you're talking about. I'm not sure what you're talking about, to be honest with you. I'm a little bit confused. You've stunned me. But you followed me, so I think you're on my side. Hell yeah. I don't know, bro. Let's get back into it.
These talking heads on TV.
Continue to talk, though. I will respond. You said right-wingers don't go after their opponent. Right-wingers don't go after their opponent. Lefties do. I mean, what about Roe v. Wade, though? You know what I mean? That was a pretty big going after. You know, what about banning books in schools? Lefties aren't doing that in America. Right-wingers are, you know? Like, I'm not one of those channels that wants to fucking fight people or, you know, debate bro people, but I want to make, like, a dialogue. You know what I mean? So whatever you got to say, I'll try to respond to it. You know what I mean? What's wrong with banning school books? I mean, obviously you want to ban fucking pornography and like shit like that. Kids can't be... Yeah, sure, but I also think it's important to expose children to complex ideas when they're younger so they don't become reactionaries. You know what I mean? So they have that broader view of the world and they can make up their own minds. Kids, obviously don't have the full mental capacity of adults, but that doesn't mean that they aren't human beings that should be given the opportunity to make up their own minds about things. It's like that. It's the same argument that people make with trans children getting hormone blockers and getting therapy and being called by the pronoun that they prefer. It's like all of those things are not permanent. You know, it gives them the opportunity to try and express themselves the way they want to be, the way they want to, and decide for themselves. You know, why should my child think people can have different pronouns than he or him when it's not true? Well, scientists and fucking scholars would disagree with you, bro. You know what I mean? Like, it's been said time and time again, sex and gender are different. Like, I think a good way to look at gender is a mask that you put on. God's not real, man. I don't give a fuck what a book has to say. You do you, bro. Again, this is just my opinion. But the thing with opinions is that they can hurt people. And my view is that we need to expand people's thinking. I mean, I'm going all over the place. What I was saying with trans people is like the way that you need to think about gender is as a role that you play. Nobody is saying that biological sex does not exist. Think about it this way. Like a purse, a dress are not biologically designed for a man or for a woman. You know, that's man-made things that have cultural significance, you know? So what harm does it do society for someone with a penis to want to express themselves in ways that are not typically associated with their sex? There's no reason for them not to be able to express themselves the way that they want to be expressed, you know? Well, I'm going off on a whole different fucking tangent. Let's get back into this freaking video. And please, if you're not already followed, please follow. I'm going to be streaming every day. I'm on YouTube too. Go ahead and subscribe over there. We got clips, all that good stuff, man. I really appreciate you guys watching. I'm just getting this shit started. It's going to keep rolling. We're going to get followers. We're going to get all this stuff. The lefties are going to take over the world. Let's fucking do it, boys.
U.S. senators, the Department of Homeland
and
Security,
girls,
the people who
and NBs again
are some of the most powerful people in our country who have the strings of the
Let me just.
senators, the Department of Homeland Security, the people who are some of the most powerful people in our country who have the strings of the national security apparatus at their fingertips, targeting our fellow Americans just because they didn't vote for Joe Biden.
That is not at all what is happening. Again, a capital B fucking bomb was brought to the Capitol by these fucking right-wing fucking insane people. And they've been doing shit like they tried to kidnap a fucking governor, all this crazy insane shit. They committed crimes, and now they're going to be punished for committing those crimes. But the right wing don't believe in the rule of law. They seriously don't. They only believe in punishing the people that they disagree with and having a good old boys club for the people that they want to have as a part of that club. You know, like it's just ooga booga fucking tribal bullshit, you know?
All because they want to hold on to power. This is outrageous.
Hold on to fucking power? You mean like the guy that they went there to cause an insurrection over, to try to do an insurrection over, man? Like the projection and mental gymnastics blows my fucking mind.
To every single American. And we got to see right through what they're doing. The timing of this is not an accident. We are just weeks away from the midterm elections. They are concerned that they will lose the seats that they have. And so they're, again, not caring about the consequences and the destruction to the country and the heart of the American people, willing to foment this fear to say, hey, don't you dare vote for these Republicans because they voted for Trump and they are traitors.
I mean, but these fears are freaking credible, man. Like Trump has said time and time again and put into action his words of trying to subvert the election. These fears are grounded. And on top of that, you have them doing insane shit like overturning Roe v. Wade and just Republicans in office not willing to enshrine the right to contraception into law, the right to have a fucking condom into law. Of course, normal people, which the vast majority of Americans are reasonable, they're going to be like, what the fuck are these people doing? You know, it's not that hard to understand, but the only thing coming out of her mouth and that smug punchable fuck's mouth is propaganda, bro. Straight and simple.
And they're a greater threat to our country than Al-Qaeda jihadists.
So, Tulsi, if you...
Again, they are. Look at the numbers. Wikipedia is a Google search away.
Your father died at the World Trade Center on 9/11, and you were inspired to enlist and serve in the U.S. military. And you went overseas, and you killed a lot of bad guys and kept this country safe. And if you come back to this country... And
you hear how childish this man sounds? You killed a lot of bad guys. Yeah, we also killed fucking over 100,000 civilians over there. So good job. You guys are fucking heroes.
You think the FBI helped Joe Biden get elected? The Democrats are saying you're worse than the Al-Qaeda terrorists that you went overseas and defended our country from. Is there any way they can pull back?
That's not what anybody is saying. I would love to see the politician who said that. Please.
From this?
I don't see how they can. This is miles past barely tipping across the line. You know, there is one.
And you know what's so funny, dude? They can do shit like straight up fucking kill people. But the second that you have criticism over them murdering people, all of a sudden you're the crazy fucking authoritarian nutjob who's out to fucking steal their lunch money. You know what I mean? Fucking just stupid, dude.
Jesse, I want to tell you, I do agree with them on. There is a domestic threat to our democracy, and it is a very serious one. But it is not in the hands of a few powerless Americans who are pissed off and frustrated.
She's absolutely true. She's absolutely right, man. The people we have to be worried about are people like Ron DeSantis, who's a competent fascist. You know, people like him who hear the small minority of fucking crazy people and see that as their stepping stone to power and consolidation of power. Those are the people we need to be afraid of, and not afraid of, but concerned about and working to stop them from gaining the levers of power and curtailing democracy. You know what I mean? Oh, give me 1 second. My fucking camera. It didn't die. It just fucking... I gotta turn it off and on. Woohoo! I'm back. Shit. Let's get back into it.
That our government is failing us. It is the threat coming from some of the most powerful people in our government, some of the people that I've talked about in the Biden administration, the national security state apparatus that's being weaponized against our fellow Americans.
The thing that's so sinister about Tulsi Gabbard to me is that she uses this terminology that is like kind of sounds like woke and like left, but she flips it to just completely go in the opposite direction, man, and paint the people who are most trying to help us, not Democrats, obviously, but people on the left as these evil boogeymen. You know, it's sinister, man. She plays a crazy game, man. She's a calculator. You know, I can just tell, bro. Like, it's crazy.
Again, because they voted against the president or because they disagree with his policies, willing to sacrifice our country and our constitution, our democracy, so they can hold on to power. We need to be clear-eyed about this. And
all right, I'm going to stop her right there. She's saying the same shit over and over again, man. I can't believe these people can say this shit without any shame or self-awareness, bro. Like, come on. Everything that she said directly applies to the people that she's defending, man. It's sickening. It's fucking sickening. Oh, boy. Give me just 1 second here. Doing good today, man. We got through the freaking stream. I just got to keep on, I think doing it early in the morning is better for me, because then it's just like, all right, get up, get the shit done, then I can edit later on and blah, 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 man. Love you fucking guys for sticking with me, man. Doing good. It's awesome. It's awesome. And again, not following, give me a follow, man. I'm gonna be here every day, starting now. I know I said that a couple of times. Starting right now, every day, we're gonna do like 3, 4, maybe 5 articles, going through, breaking it down, then reacting to great content. Slurp it on up. All right. So our next video is about the Jackson water crisis going on. There's been floods all over the place, fucking up infrastructure. And because we don't put any money into infrastructure, shit like this just continues to happen. And because we don't do anything to address the climate crisis, this shit like this is gonna continue to happen and intensify over time, man. You know? So we got a video from Vice that we're going to dig into, break down. Let's get into it.
The players on Callaway High School's football team are continuing to show up for practice despite the fact that their city is in the middle of one of the worst water crises in modern American history.
And you ain't got no water at home, and it's a struggle to get water right now. Make sure y'all get a case of water from back there and take home with you, okay? If you need something washed, leave it in the pile right here. Everybody good? Yes, sir. All right, let's get a break.
With only a day left before a game against their biggest rival, the district was scrambling to find a school with running water for the teams to play.
What kind of struggles are your players coming to you with?
The biggest issue that they are having is that they come to as coach. I go home and I can't even take a bath.
I turned the fucking microphone off by accident. It's all right, man. I mean, I don't think there's that much that I can really add to this video, honestly. I think I'm just going to go ahead and go to a different one. We got Tucker Carlson. I think we're going to go with this one. This video just infuriates me beyond belief, bro. They're just basically PragerU doing what they do best, is just running propaganda puff pieces for the worst fucking people imaginable. And in this case, they're running an article smearing Palestinians for the sake of the fucking genocidal regime that is the IDF and the government of Israel.
What makes you so certain that joining Hamas, joining the Al-Qassam Brigade, and ultimately turning to violence is the answer here?
If I put the gun down, the Israeli will not stop killing us. We know the enemy. We tried everything with him. I'm talking about 3 deadly wars.
Now with Hamas, man, they're not the best representatives of the Palestinians, but the thing is, it's really their only representation or only way to fight, viable way to fight back. You know what I mean? And Hamas has done bad things. Israel has done even worse things. I think a week ago, I was reading an article where they'd killed 19 children in just a fucking week, and not in rocket attacks, not in some collateral damage war type shit. It's like just going into the occupied territories and causing terror within the community, murdering children. It's sickening that anybody can defend these actions, you know, and people who are put in these desperate situations perform desperate actions in their bid for freedom, you know, like it's not ideal, it's not pretty, but I do believe that it's understandable, you know, like you look back at the history and like there were literal Israeli or Jewish terrorist cells within modern day Israel, Palestine, that would take people hostage and kill people and forcibly evict people from their homes to gain back this quote unquote holy land, man. It's sickening and insane. It's indefensible.
14 years at the siege. We're not talking about 1 or 2 or 3 years. There's no other solutions but this weapon.
Abu Khalid is 25 years old. He's one of thousands who joined Hamas as a teenager and has been active in the group ever since. The US, the European Union, and Israel have designated Hamas as terrorists.
And don't get me wrong, I mean, they basically are terrorists, man. There's groups, parts of that organization that does bad shit, but unfortunately, they're the best hope for Palestine right now. They're the most organized, biggest military group, and Israel-Palestine is kind of a microcosm of kind of what happened with the war on terror with the United States in places like Afghanistan and Iraq, where the big imperialist force causes so much destruction and devastation and shock and awe that the people turn to extreme measures to combat the extreme violence, you know? So nobody wins. Well, I mean, I guess in the case of Israel, they're kind of winning, taking the territory and all that, but you understand what I mean. Like, it's ugly and brutal and dark, and it comes from both sides, but that darkness and brutality comes from the oppressor, not the oppressed.
A lot of the world thinks that you guys are a terrorist organization. Doesn't that affect your credibility?
Yeah. You are saying that the US consider us as a terrorist because we are targeting civilians, but what about the Israelis?
The fact
True,
that
man. Again, 19 children, Palestinian children killed by the IDF, man. If that's not terrorism, I don't know what the hell is.
Down here in tunnels that have been built under civilian areas, you're launching rockets from civilian areas as well. Doesn't that mean that you're endangering Palestinians that you claim to be fighting for?
Whatever happened, if we go down to our tunnels, if we stayed on our homes, if we stay sleeping and dreaming, the Israeli occupation will keep targeting the civilians.
It's sad,
so
man.
You can say that this is the nature of the enemy.
Exactly, man. Then you said whataboutism isn't cool. Yeah, no, I feel you, man. Again, I don't think that Hamas is like an admirable organization. I don't think that a lot of the stuff that they do is okay. All I'm saying is, man, they wouldn't be doing all of this shit if they weren't occupied in the first place. And that insane, aggressive brutality was started by Israel. I want to make another distinction. I'm not an anti-Semite, obviously. I'm an anti-Zionist. You know, I'm against the government of Israel projecting that brutality on the Palestinians. You know, both sides have done ugly, terrible things, but Israel perpetuates this insanity with their system of apartheid. That's all I'm saying, man, you know?
To my Palestinian brothers and sisters, and to anyone who supports the Palestinian people, I implore you, please do not let Hamas brainwash you into thinking it has achieved anything on our behalf. It hasn't. Not in the Gaza wars of 2021, 2014, 2012, or 2008.
Again, man, like, it's an act of desperation. You know, extremism flourishes in chaos. The Israel brings this upon themselves by denying Palestinians human rights. You keep people caged up and deprived and brutalized for so long. That's all they freaking know, and they operate by your rules. And I think it's just so disgusting that this Palestinian man comes on PragerU to just run defense for Israel, dude. Just disgusting, man. But I'd expect nothing less from the fucking demons at PragerU, man.
Each one of these pointless conflicts has been a catastrophe, costing us dearly in lives and treasure. Hamas is not a social justice movement, and it certainly does not care about the Palestinian people. It is a criminal gang that only cares about increasing its own power.
That sounds a lot like fucking Israel to me, am I right? I mean, the Hamas isn't the one going into Israel and evicting Jews from their homes and claiming those houses as theirs and encroaching upon their territory. That's what Israel's doing, you know? So, again, the projection is freaking real.
Israel is not the main cause of your suffering.
Hamas is the 100%. They went to a country that was already occupied and kicked the occupied and kicked the Palestinians out of their own homes, and continue to do so to this day. I think that would probably piss them off. I think murdering their children for no reason would probably piss them off. I think murdering journalists and then invading the funeral procession would cause quite a stir, you know?
In cause, Israel is not your jailer. Hamas is. It was Hamas that led you.
This is like typical just abusive behavior, man. It's like, it's your fault that I'm doing this to you. What kind of sick fucking mindset from a Palestinian man? Jesus Christ, that is just sickening.
Into this most recent disaster. They told you that the Israelis were evicting innocent Palestinians from their homes in the Sheikh Jarrah.
Do I gotta look it up, bro? I'm gonna have to. Literal video evidence, bro. I don't understand.
You are stealing my house.
And if I don't steal it, someone else is gonna steal it.
No one.
You see the attitude, bro? Meanwhile, this Palestinian man is throwing his people under the bus to run propaganda for an apartheid regime. How fucking disgusting and soulless do you have to be to operate this way in the world? It's mind-boggling.
Is allowed to steal it, ya ammi.
I mean, so there you go, man. Like, this dude's just a fucking liar and a propagandist, man.
Area of East Jerusalem. It is a lie. The people living in those homes weren't tenants. They were squatters.
He's trying to do this bureaucratic legal bullshit, man. Like some of those families have been in those places for thousands of years. I don't think that they have the paperwork from fucking 1,000 years ago. You know, like, it's fucking just ridiculous, man. What's up, man? What's your name, Sir Leviticus 69? Nice to see you, bro. Nice to see you. Having a good stream, bro. We're gonna do like probably 2 more videos and call it a day. I usually do like articles in the beginning, and then we do reaction to content, man. Go ahead, give me a follow if you're into shit like that. Usually politics and stuff from a leftist perspective. We'll get into other shit too. If you like want to send me videos and stuff to check out, shit on Twitter, I got you on that, man. Let's get back into it.
They hadn't paid rent for the
Federal abortion ban. Are you talking about the one from Lindsey Graham, the traitor? I don't know why you're calling him a traitor, but yeah, I actually read and analyzed an article, broke down an article about that. I think it was the first article we broke down, man. I mean, I said it while I was covering that. It's not a good look. I mean, they're bleeding supporters from this shit. The vast majority of people do support abortions. That's just a fact of reality, man. And it shows in the elections coming up. It shows in the polls. They're getting wiped out over it, man. It was a stupid move. I have no idea why he did it. But let's get back into this video.
gates. They told you that the Israelis plan to destroy the Al-Aqsa Mosque. This too is a lie. The mosque is still there. It will be there tomorrow.
So they didn't go in and try to destroy it, but they did send their fucking stormtroopers in there to intimidate and beat and arrest and harass people, man. So yeah, they didn't blow it up. Oh my God, they're such fucking saints.
Tomorrow. Say what you want about the Israelis. They are not stupid. They know that if they actually
competent fascists, he's not wrong,
attempt to destroy Al-Aqsa, it would lead to war with every Muslim country. Yes, Hamas take actions and thus look strong next to its rival, the corrupt Fatah party. But the only action it takes is to lead us into chaos. Hamas has no ability.
I mean, you said fuck Lindsey Graham, snake oil salesman bitch, and yes, but when you sit down and ask him, is an abortion and she's vastly, and as you go towards more violent actions. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you, man. Like, my personal opinion, sorry to get sidetracked by this other people, but I do like to respond to the people talking. I think most people do think that after viability, you shouldn't have an abortion, obviously. You know what I mean? And then there's also a good majority of people who think like maybe like 4 or 5 months on, you shouldn't have an abortion either. And I kind of get that. I understand that position, but we live in a complex, difficult world, man. And sometimes it's better for everyone involved if they don't have that child. You know what I mean? Like, you can prevent them from getting that abortion, and then they'll have the child, and they could be victims of abuse because the people didn't want to have that child, or they could grow up in severe poverty and just not live a life that's good and stable, you know. And so people aren't stupid. There's nuance in every situation, but doing this, the insanity of overthrowing Roe v. Wade. You said, I'm about 12 to 15 weeks, and I still believe that if you know anything bad happens, I'm about 12 to 15 weeks, and I still believe that if you know anything bad happens, they should have the ability to afford the baby and remove it from the mother. We're talking like in the case of a medical emergency or the child has miscarried. I just disagree, man. In a perfect world, I feel like I'd agree with you, but we live in a world that's really fucked up, full of pain and suffering, and people having to make hard decisions, man. You know, I don't knock anybody for not feeling like they're able to handle that responsibility. And on top of that, man, it's like, I've been in foster care, bro. They don't give a fuck about you at all. Will your opinion change when they have medical wounds? My opinion will change when we provide the means for a happy existence for every person on earth. Until then, when there are situations where suffering will when the child will have the potential to suffer in the world alive, and when their existence will create a burden that may not be surpassable by the parents, then I believe maybe we can have a conversation about it. But the world is much too complex and fucked up right now to just blanket ban this shit. You just said, well, if all of existence changes, my opinion has changed. No, I don't think that's an extreme. He said, well, that's existence, man. You just said, well, if all of existence changes, my opinion will change. I think that's a pretty extreme position. It's not about all of existence, man. It's about things that we can actively do right now to limit human suffering, man. We can give people free homes. We can give people the food that they need to eat. As soon as we do those two things, then maybe I'll change my position, man. But as the world stands right now, people need to have this medical procedure to not completely fuck up their lives because of the system that we're in, man. It's not our fault that governments who are supposed to provide for us don't do that, and we have to struggle working for fucking petty fucking lords to you said, yeah, but you said all, good sir. Like, I probably would have been down with the answer of if we can get rid of the majority of human suffering, but the concept of all suffering is inconceivable, at least within our present state in the next. I mean, I'm going to have to disagree with that. I do think that human suffering can be drastically reduced. And I mean, humans will suffer no matter what is going on. That's the state of existence, man. There's spiritual suffering that happens within us all, you know, and it doesn't necessarily have to do with material conditions, but I mean in terms of material conditions that we can actionably change, you know? Yeah, so I really do think we're on the same page, but at this point, I do think that abortion is something that people need and they should have access to. All right, let's get back into this video. I do not know why I like this. Fuck that.
And in fact, no desire to govern. The water isn't safe.
Material things mean nothing. Use your soul guard. Okay, we'll say that technology. I'll get to you guys in 2 seconds. Let me just get through this fucking video, bro. I got you. I'll come back to it. I just want to finish this shit. I know other people are probably like, what the fuck, man? Just start the video.
Safe to drink. The power goes out for hours at a time. Raw sewage washes up on your beaches. The Israelis are not responsible.
They
for
100% are responsible for this. They control everything that happens within this entire region. And they cut off power on purpose when they go do raids. They don't update that infrastructure on purpose to starve out and drive out the Palestinians so they can have Israel all to themselves, man. That's what it's about. It's as simple as that, man. Literally. All right, it's getting spicy over here. I'm going to have to jump in. What's going on? In my opinion, material things mean nothing, fuse your soul guard. Okay, we'll say that our technology keeps advancing as it has, and it gets down to the point where pretty much humanity can do whatever it wants because the machines can do 90 to 95% of the work. Would that be a good point in which there is no longer an excuse for abortions? Because then you're literally taking the opportunity away from another human being to experience the amazing life of that other human beings die for, or is that too far? Man. So I might get a little bit of flack from our lefty boos on here, but if the world was like a utopia, then I do believe if someone got pregnant past a certain point, like if they're like a fucking zygote, a little clump of cells, then flush that shit. I don't give a fuck. But when they're more developed, I do kind of think like if we live in a world that's hypothetically perfect for the human condition, then I do think that life deserves to go on and experience. But again, we don't live in a perfect world. And that's just my honest opinion, man, you know? Again, if you guys are watching, I do a bunch of politics shit. Thank you for your honest opinion. Of course, man, that's what it's all about over here, bro. I'm not, again, and I said it to another guy who was on earlier. I'm not one of those dudes who likes to fucking debate bro and debate lord everything. I like to have conversations, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to score like fucking points with the left, you know what I mean? I am a leftist, I am a communist, but that doesn't mean that we're a monolith, bro. We all have different opinions. I was going to say, go ahead and give me a follow if you like the shit that I'm doing, man. You know, we do, I break down articles in the first half, then I react to content and just give you my perspective on it. I really appreciate you guys watching. We're halfway through this video on Israel. Let's get back into it.
Small failures. Hamas is. And everybody in Gaza knows it. It is Hamas that's...
Yeah, so again, he was just saying that, like, you know, they have terrible sewage. It's backed up. Sometimes there's literal fucking sewage floods in the Palestinian regions of Israel. They have rolling blackouts. And again, Israel controls all of that. Their infrastructure is dependent on Israel. And they intentionally make it shitty. They intentionally put as much pressure on the Palestinians as possible so they can reduce their numbers, get them to leave, well, they can't leave, but just keep them in perpetual shock and awe so they can't organize and create better conditions for themselves in a way that is constructive. You know, it's right out of the apartheid, fascist, racist playbook, man. Like, no cap.
Steal the imported cement meant to build houses for you and uses it instead to build a massive network of tunnels from which it hopes to terrorize Israelis. It is...
Again, man, like the way that he paints this is just so disgusting, and I cannot believe that this is a Palestinian man saying this shit, dude. Like, desperate times call for desperate measures, you know, and I'm not saying everything is on the table, but come on, building networks for your organizations to try to root out the oppressor is just the name of the game. What do you think they're gonna do? But if that was your goal, meaning the Israelites' goals, is that how you would do it, or is there another way they can accomplish the goal that you think they have, or they might actually have? I don't really know. So what I think is going on is Israel right now, and again, you might not have been here when I brought this up, but it kind of started out as like a fringe group of Jews who went over to this land that they saw as their like ancient Holy Land, and they were literal terrorists trying to kill as many Palestinians as possible, buy up as much land as possible, drive them out as much as possible, so they could take back that land. And fast forward now, it's just a continuation of that process, but we're in the 21st century where genocide is generally looked at as not okay. So they do what they can in bits and pieces. A perfect example is that I think this happened last year where a rocket hit an apartment in Israel, and it killed, I think, like maybe 2 or 3 people, which is obviously a tragedy. Obviously, I don't want that happening, you know, but they use that as an excuse to rain fucking hellfire on the Palestinians, and in that shock and awe, take more territory. So it's the long game of taking territory, demoralizing the quote-unquote enemy, and maintaining dominance, man. They can't just kill them all now, because in our enlightened quote-unquote liberal world, that would be seen as a no-no. But if you just brutalize them and keep them occupied like they're dogs, then that's okay. Is that how you would do it? I mean, I'm not a fucking fascist freak, you know what I mean? I guess so. I can't really speak to that, you know what I mean, man?
Hamas that makes sure humanitarian aid meant for you is diverted to its favored elites, who then sell it for a profit on the black market. And it is...
I mean, he's not wrong. There's corruption everywhere in every facet of society where people have power. There's going to be people who use that to benefit them. What can I say, man? It doesn't mean that the Israeli occupation of Palestine is legitimate. You know, I mean, there's obviously tons of corruption in the Israeli government, you know, as with every government, especially under the system where we don't have direct democracy. You know, that's why I always am an advocate for direct democracy. You don't want to have people with such a grip on power that they're able to do these insane things, you know, because contrary to popular belief, human beings are inherently good. We do inherently have a sense of community and brotherhood. We just have a small percentage of our human community that is vicious and nefarious and selfish and sociopathic.
That uses you as a human shield, stationing rocket launchers and missile arsenals in your apartments.
1% of all human beings on the planet are psychopaths. Yeah, exactly, man. And I think this system, the system of capitalism, kind of rewards sociopaths and psychopaths because they're the ones who are willing to do whatever it takes to get that leg up and get that control and get that power. So we have a disproportionate amount of mentally unbalanced people operating the levers of power in our society. You know what I mean? And that's not just a problem with capitalism. It's a problem with any system that, like I said, does not have more direct democracy, in my opinion.
Schools and even hospitals. Israel uses rockets to defend its people. Hamas uses people to defend its rockets. As for its war strategy, Hamas doesn't have one. It fires missiles at the most highly populated regions of Israel.
I mean, that's not true at all. You know, I think I'm just gonna stop it right here. He's just saying the same shit over and over again, man. Like, obvious propaganda from the biggest fucking propaganda outlet on YouTube, PragerU, a bunch of right-wing, heartless fucking animals defending the indefensible as usual, man. What can I say? Oh my goodness. All right, everybody. I think that's enough for today. We got through a lot of nice articles and stuff. If you have any last minute things you want to say to me, or little articles or whatever, or videos you want me to check out, let me know. If you're not already following, please, please, please give me a follow. I'm going to be doing this every day, going through a lot of good stuff, freaking political content and other content as well. Alrighty? I love you all. No cap, bro, for real. I'm excited to be doing this again. Looks like you guys are all straight. I'll catch you guys next time. Probably going to be the same time tomorrow. I started the stream at 8 today, so again, probably 8 o'clock tomorrow. I'll see you guys later.